Hey guys, it's Carissa and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Inky Fairy Designs. Today is Watercolor Wednesday, so I am doing some more watercolor florals. I picked up some of the Brea Reese regular watercolors, not the glitter ones, and I wanted to kind of play around with those. I also have had these ampersand Aquaboards for ages. They're 5x5, they're designed for watercolor, and I wanted to do some pretty florals on it. So I was just showing you my practice sheet. I had traced the little squares so I knew what my size was, and then I just went and practiced kind of what I had in mind to see if it would work. I'm using my silver black velvet brush in the round number 6 for the entire watercolor painting. I put the Brea Reese watercolors in this little palette. Here's the green that I used. I think it's called Ocean Green. And then this is the practice one that I decided to go with. So that's the example. And it comes out, of course it comes out slightly different because every time you put brush to paper, it's different, it's paint, it's going to move differently, it's going to work differently, and especially on this surface, compared to paper. But it was fun, and I highly recommend, like, if you're gonna do a canvas or something like this, it's not like in an art journal or something, do some practice with it. Figure out what you want to do first. This takes away also the kind of blank page syndrome because, I was able to loosen up. Before I even did the squares, I did more watercolor florals on a journal, just to kind of loosen myself up and kind of tell myself, yes, you can still do this, and to just get out of my head a little bit. So what you see I'm doing is I'm just adding some water to the board, just some clean clear water, and then I pick up some of my paint and I drop it in, and then I start moving it around. And when I first did the first flower on here, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how fun, or I don't know if the fun is the word, but how beautifully this board actually does take watercolors. I mean, it's what it's designed for. But I had forgotten, because I had used these boards, gosh, probably 2 years ago was the last time I used one of these. But I'd forgotten how beautiful the watercolors move and sit and just react on this board. And so it was a lot of fun. They actually come out really vibrant on this compared to the paper that I was using, because that was really student grade, just practice paper. So I put on this really light green. It's the ocean green, and I wanted to kind of deepen it up a little bit. So I dropped in a little bit of this blue that I have. It's called, I think I was using the Cerulean blue, or the lake blue. And then the leftover that I had on my brush, I just created some smaller leaves around the smaller florals. And then I wanted to deepen up that a little bit more, and I kind of overworked these two larger leaves, but I'm able to kind of, once I decide, okay, that's enough, and leave it alone, I can come back and fix it. Not a problem. But that's when, and so here I am dabbing it away because I got a little bit too dark. I lost the green. That's what I'm trying to say. I lost the green in that leaf. I do love the blue leaves, but I still wanted to have a couple of green leaves. So I tried to add it in, and then it was like, okay, just step away, move on to something else. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in, and I added these little like sprays with just this violet color, just a couple sprays here and there, just to fill in that little area. So I do bring in one Daniel Smith color. It's the neutral tint because I needed a black on my painting, and I didn't have a black in the Brea Reese. I only have a few of the regular watercolors. So this is my first time using them, and I really enjoy them. But here I am going in with that neutral tint and adding just kind of like a spray of leaves. I dab it away because I want it to be very light. Just a little wash of color here and there for these leaves. And so I'll dab away here again. And then I'm going to use that violet color, and I'm going to add another spray of some flowers coming out from these leaves. So I don't know, they're just kind of like little squiggly lines, and then I just connect them. They could be flowers, they could be leaves, they could be whatever you want because it's totally abstract. But I just thought I needed something to fill in this area, and I like the way I did the second spray better than I did the first one. And then I thought I should add some dots over here and kind of tie it together. So yeah, I like the way that it's turning out. I did heat set it there. You could see really quick my heat tool. I just wanted to make sure everything was completely dry before I started adding some layers on top. And here's where I come in and I kind of fix these larger leaves here. I wanted to darken up that green because I knew that that light green wouldn't show. So I brought in the phthalo green that I have in the glitter Brea Reese ink because I don't have any darker green on the regular inks. And what I did was I didn't shake it, and I added just one drop to my already ocean green. And so it's a little sparkly, but not as sparkly as it would be if I had shaken it. So there's a little sparkle on my painting, but I think it looks really pretty. So now I'm coming in and I'm taking this medium magenta color that I have, and I'm darkening up the centers of my flowers, adding another layer on top, and I'm spreading it out. So I add like a dark layer in the middle, and then I clean off my brush and spread it out as if it was like there was nothing underneath it. And then I'm just kind of spreading it and adding some lines and texture, and I use the very tip of my brush to add the very detailed kind of circular lines around my flower just to give it some texture. And so I'm mixing up the two little pinks here, and I didn't really like the way the one pink was looking on top of that darker pink. And so I dabbed it away a little bit, which these boards are great for doing that. And the Brea Reese inks, that's one thing that, I don't know, I'd have to play with it some more, but I didn't find that they lift very well. So that could have been just I didn't have enough water on there. So I'd have to play with that a little bit more, but it's okay. I like the way it turned out. So now I'm coming in with the same neutral tint, except it's not watered down as much. So I wanted to have a very dark leaves on top of those light leaves. And this is something that I really love about watercolors, is that that's the same exact color, but it looks totally different because with the amount of water that you add or don't add to it. And so it keeps with that it just keeps it very cohesive throughout the painting. And then I'm coming in and I'm adding some detail lines to my leaves with that neutral tint. Again, tying those colors in throughout the painting. It's very easy on the eyes. And now the whole reason I brought in the neutral tint was to add these dark centers to my flowers. So I'm just kind of on one side adding a little like half moon, and then pulling that out with some dots on top. So I think it's kind of giving the rose or the flower a little bit of a direction. I don't know. I just like the way that looks. So now I'm coming in and I am adding just some really very abstract flowers here in this corner. I added some of the green and some of the purple just to give it a little bit of just to fill in that area a little bit. And now I'm kind of come in and it's the same way that I added those dark leaves over the lighter leaves. I felt that my little sprays of purple flowers kind of lightened up into the background. And so I wanted to darken that up a little bit. So I added some of the blue, which the actual blue I'm using is ultramarine blue. I didn't have the right name in the beginning. I mixed that with the violet and created this blue violet color and added that over the top just to give it a little bit more dimension. I love that look when you have like a lighter background and then you add some darker colors and the same shapes of flowers and leaves on top, it just really gives some depth and texture to your painting. So I deepened up the centers of my flowers, and that wraps up my painting. I did add some more green, just like areas to fill in some of those white spaces, but I did that, I think, off camera. And so yeah, but then I added a little bit more of those lighter gray leaves just to fill in that little corner. So I think that really wraps it up. I love how this has come out. I'm really enjoying pulling out this ampersand Aquaboard again. I haven't used it in a while, like I mentioned earlier, I think. And so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some lettering. I wanted to add a quote on here. I'm using my Pentel Touch Sign brush pen. I don't know if I'm saying that in the right order, but that's what it is. And I'm writing on there, "It is well with my soul." I actually had this quote on my mind today, and I have wanted to put it on something. I have wanted to put it on basically what you're seeing, some type of canvas or board or something with some flowers on it that I painted. And so finally I was able to do that. And I like these boards because they're 5x5. I don't feel intimidated like I have to fill up a whole 8x10 or 11x16 canvas. I don't even go that big. Maybe someday I will, but I love the size of these boards. Now, when I was doing my lettering, I did kind of sketch it with a pencil a couple of times before I went in with my pen, but then I erased it so I could just go in with my pen. And even though I had sketched it a couple times and practiced on the little squares on my practice sheet, I still messed up. I ran out of room for the word "my," so it's kind of squished there. But you know what? That's handmade. It happens, and I think it still turns out really good, and you can still read what it says. And I think the flowers kind of steal the show anyway. At least I hope so, because I think they turned out so cute. So after I get this, I'm just like thickening up some of my down strokes to make it stand out a little bit more. I'll sign the painting, and that's it. So that wraps it up for today's video. I just want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying the Watercolor Wednesday videos, especially this kind of floral, I don't know, journey that I'm on. I've always wanted to really practice and learn how to make flowers with watercolors, and so almost didn't get this video done, but finally got a little push from my friend and got it done. And I'm so glad that I did, because this is exactly what I've had on my mind to make, and I finally got it on something. So I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to give me this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and if you aren't already, subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this. Every Wednesday I'll have a new Watercolor Wednesday video for you. In the month of March so far, I'm working on these florals, and I hope you like the variety that you get on my channel. I have Mixed Media Mondays and Stamp Stash Saturdays for you guys. You can pretty much find me on social media everywhere as Inky Fairy Designs, and be sure to check out my Facebook group as well in the description box below. I'll have a list to all of the supplies that I used in this video as well in the description box. And that's it for me today. I'll be back on Saturday for another Stamp Stash Saturday video. Until then, do something creative today. Bye.